Good morning. Good morning. So, another question from my followers was, what is the current interest rate? Listen, I never quote rate, I never talk about interest rate because interest rate is not as important as buying a house, building equity, not listening to everybody else and actually taking action. But I will talk about interest rates. I'm not quoting an interest rate. I'm talking about interest rate. I'm not telling you what the interest rate is today because nobody knows what that is. Okay. So, what is the best interest rate? Any rate when you're buying a property is a good interest rate. I will let you know when I bought my houses a long time ago when I was 18 years old, my interest rate was 12.99% and I loved it. I loved it. Why did I love it? Because I was buying a single family home. I was buying, each home was $25,000. My father, may he rest in peace, Dr. Rusu, helped me renovate the home. It was just cosmetic. And I ended up flipping, I believe I rented it for 2 or 3 months, got rent on it, didn't really like being a landlord. And we renovated it to the point where it was cleaned up after the tenants left. And we sold. Each home sold for $50,000 each. 25, bought it for 25, put probably $2,000-3,000 in each home and made a profit over $100,000 when I was 18 years old. So when people say interest rates are high, that's great. That's great because people like me know that people like no shade like you who listen to the news. I don't listen to the news, by the way. Listen to the news and listen, oh, interest rates are so high. Oh, mortgages are so high. So what? Investors are buying properties. So the best interest rate is any interest rate that you get to buy a property and to build equity and to get legacy for your children. My houses are going to go to my children. My house is my 401k. I don't have a 401k. I don't need the government to tax me on my 401k. Let's talk about those interest rates. Let's talk about credit card interest rates. Let's talk about home equity line interest rates. It doesn't matter. Once I sell my properties, when I live to be, I'm going to live well over my grandmother. My grandmother, Afuapwahima, passed away at 103 by her choice. Way past that, I'm going to sell my property. If I sell my property, I take all the money. I don't have to share it with the 401k. I don't have to share it with the taxes, right? Or if I take my money with whatever interest rate I got and will it to my children, right? So I want you all to get out of interest rates. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12%. All of them are good. The interest rate on my property right now is 2%. Why did I get 2%? I did the loan for myself when I bought my property. When I bought my property, I did what we call, back in the day, old school loan officers, you know what I'm talking about, 80-20 loans. 80% is the first mortgage, 20% is the second mortgage. I believe I gave myself, I think I had 8.25, 8.25 on the first. On the second, I believe I had a 12.375, if I'm not mistaken. I loved it. I loved it. Why? Because I was buying a property. Because my kids went shopping for me, with me, to see several properties. When you go out with your realtor, don't waste your time. Look at the houses that you see. And I'm going to do another video on this because I really got to give a shout out to my realtors on that. Look at the houses. Long story short, I went out one time with my realtor. We saw 4 houses. I fell in love with the 4th house. I sat in the car with her. She literally was on her phone doing the contract. I signed it. I was married at the time. Told my husband we're signing the contract. My kids loved it. Like Kwaku, Kofi, and Kajo were at the actual house. They were offended when people walked in because it was like coming in and out of the house. It wasn't an open house, but people were coming in and out of the house because I bought during a seller's market. That means the seller is in charge of the market. Everybody wants the inventory that's out there. My boys would sit on the stairs going up, and every person that came in that house, they said, this is my mom's house. This is my mommy's house. This is our house. This is our house. You guys need to leave. We're buying this house. My boys were manifesting things as a child, just like we all did when we were children. So what's the best interest rate? Any interest rate that's going to buy you a property that you can put money in as far as renovations and stuff like that. Our house was fully renovated when we bought it, but you can pull money out. When you pull your money out, ask your bank what is the interest rate on the money that you have been sitting on the whole time. They'll gladly tell you at least 22.99999%. And that interest rate revolves every single day. And that's why you would never pay off your credit cards. So what is the best interest rate? Any interest rate. www.stoprenting.biz is my website. You can also find me on Instagram at _moneylady. And I'm on YouTube. Stop renting and buy with the money lady. What's the best interest rate? Any interest rate that's going to buy you a house. If it doesn't make money, it does not make sense.